Hello, welcome to today's presentation about well-being, leadership, and policy. We're going to start the presentation with a reflection. The first thing I would like you to do is to close your eyes. I would like you to think about the week that has passed. In your mind, I would like you to paint an image of the activities and opportunities you've taken. Recall your freedom to be in different spaces. What did you see in these spaces? What do other people look like that you've had the opportunity to interact with, either online or near you? How do you think they feel? What does the air smell like when you're commuting from one place to the next? What do you hear? Or imagine the soundscape. Wait. Imagine your earbuds are off and you are really truly listening to the surroundings of the outside of your house. How do you think people view their potential that you've met this week? How do you think they view their freedoms? How do you think they view their futures? What will your world look like when you graduate? Now, I want you to think about the people you met or passed by, talked to over the phone or on social media, the people that you existed with. And I want you to think, in those experiences, interactions you've had with other people, what were they able to do and be? Now, I want you to imagine 5 years from now. Imagine that you're on your way to work. What do you see? What do people look like? How do you think they feel as you pass by? What does the air smell like 5 years from now? What do you hear? Or imagine the soundscape. What do your surroundings, or what will your surroundings look like, sound like, smell like 5 years from now? How do you think people will view their potential, their freedoms, and their futures 5 years from now? What do you think your world will look like 5 years from now? So today I'm going to talk about some of these items and reflect on the idea of well-being and your interactions with people, but we're also going to look at how that is explored at the policy level. Thank you for exploring that imaginary scene with me. As humans, I think we often take our capacity to imagine things beyond what is exactly present for granted. We also often forget how important that skill is when we are facing challenges and need to find a way forward. As a higher education instructor, I've applied something called the 4 pillars of learning in my work as a teacher. When I meet students for the first time, I give them the opportunity to set up affiliations and establish a peer learning network. Next, the idea of to know is an activity where I ask students to explore not only peer-reviewed networks, but online networks, practitioner networks, personal experiences, and any other network from which students can draw dynamic opportunities for new knowledge. The third pillar, to live together, is, I think, a large part of what it is to study the humanities. As philosopher Martha Nussbaum shared, the work of the humanities is often to understand others. Fully understanding others, however, is a difficult and often incomplete task. It is a critical venue from which we develop the capacity to live among others successfully. This is true in your families, residences, and even in the global environments from which we function from day to day. That is why I often offer students opportunities to conduct learning experiences with community partners and to have public conversations about our most important matters in society. Finally, the fourth pillar, to do, is the opportunity to try something, to fail, to reflect, and be better during our learning experiences. After this presentation, you will be able to add your insights and promote your community initiatives on Twitter by using the hashtag UWindsor Aim Dolce Vita There are more details in the comments below. I would love to hear what your impression is of these frameworks and how you might apply it in your own experiences and how you understood the presentation so that others can share in your new knowledge and in your experiences. Today, I will present 3 facets to well-being that are central to my understanding of my work as a higher education instructor. First, I will share information about something called the capability approach, which has 2 core claims. First, the freedom to achieve well-being is of primary importance, and second, the freedom to achieve well-being is to be understood of people's capabilities. But more on that later. Those who study the capability approach, or capabilitarians, often begin by asking the central question, what are people able to do and be? And this is a question I hope you will expand upon after the presentation. In part 2 of the presentation, I will discuss how policymakers have begun to measure well-being or happiness and provide some resources to demonstrate the shift in policy that has begun to occur since the beginning of the United Nations Human Development Reports started in the year 1990, 30 years ago. In part 3, I will introduce you to a modern career development framework that suits high-achieving students who want to have a positive impact through the work that they do and through the community contributions they make. You should watch the videos in sequential order to get the full benefit of the presentation.